Let's take a look at sums of angles in quadrilaterals and triangles. This here is a square, and then so we know for a square that each of those angles is a right angle. Each of those is a right angle, and we know each of those right angles is 90 degrees. How many right angles do we have there? 4 of them. So if we took the sum of all of those angles, we would get 360 degrees. So the sum of all of those angles is 360 degrees. We also know by definition for a rectangle that each of those is a right angle at 90 degrees each. And there's 4 of them, so 90 degrees. Adding all those together also equals 360 degrees. In fact, not only for squares and rectangles, this holds true for all quadrilaterals, that the sum of the angles is going to be 360 degrees. So if we have the angle A, we have the angle B, we have the angle C, and we have the angle D, the sum of all those angles is how many degrees? 360 degrees. That not only holds true for a parallelogram, for a square, for a rectangle, it's with all quadrilaterals, even trapezoids, where it is that we had one set of parallel sides, and it doesn't even need to be a quadrilateral that has a different name. So for instance, if we had this quadrilateral, the sum of those angles is also 360 degrees. So knowing this, that the sum of all the angles is 360 degrees, we could find a solution for a question like this, where we're asked to find the measure of the missing angle. So what we would do in this case is we would take the other angles and the degrees of the other angles to go ahead and add them together and subtract that from 360. To find the measure of that missing angle. The sum of those numbers in the parentheses is 260 degrees. So we have 360 degrees minus 260 degrees, so that measurement of the missing angle is 100 degrees. Again, the sum of all the angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. The sum of all angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So if this was 90 degrees here, this is 45 degrees, then this too would be 45 degrees. Because 45 plus 90 plus 45 does equal 180. This kind of makes sense because of this here. If I was to complete this here, to place another rectangle, to make a rectangle at this point with that other triangle, this angle right here that I'm showing you is 45, this angle would be 45, and this angle too would be 90. And then so each, we got 90 plus 90 plus 90 is 360, but if I drew a line back on through there, that's 180. So much the same way, if I had a trapezoid, I could do that same thing, or if I drew another line there, those would just be two triangles in that case. And again, so the sum, this, and this, with this, and this, and this, sum inside of those rectangles is 180. The sum of each of those for a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. So we might have a triangle like this here, where we're asked to figure out that missing angle there. So we have 45 plus 30 plus some number equaling 180 degrees. 45 plus 30 is 75 degrees, plus some number equaling 180 degrees. If I subtract 75 from that 180, I'll get 105, and that would be that missing number, 105 degrees. So again, the sum of those angles is 180 degrees. Okay, to review, the sum of the angles in a quadrilateral is how many degrees? Right, 360 degrees. You could think, hey, square, 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90, 360 degrees. It applies to all quadrilaterals, though. Sum of angles in a triangle, then, is what again? 180 degrees. Knowing these two facts here, you are able to go ahead and figure out missing angles, whether it's in a quadrilateral or whether it's in a triangle. Just do that math carefully.